the way like her soul, her heart is so open and she's so connected to herself, and the mission that she has is, oh my God.
Wow, when there's something troubling us here, it's represented here. Powerful. And I think that was my first realization of the mind-body connection. This is it, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. And I sat in the car and I cried. And I thought, I was so rejected. And I thought, how naive and stupid of me to think that I could even do this. My father would always squash the idea. No, it won't work because of this. It won't work because of that. So I went through life always constantly striving, constantly trying to feel better or to prove to him that I was good enough. So I think the connection with now working with the Junior Gladiators and working with kids is a little bit of healing that wound, letting children know, I believe in you.
And I'm so happy that the universe brought these opportunities for you to create these things from the heart.
Angela Soudi, lifelong entrepreneur, speaker, founder of Junior Gladiators Mastery Program.
Welcome to IAmCreationPodcast. I feel so excited because I will have amazing conversation with such an inspiring woman, and I just met her yesterday, but the way like her soul, her heart is so open and she's so connected to herself, and the mission that she has is, oh my God, she is creating Junior Gladiator and she supports children from the age of 7 to create their own business. Mm-hmm. She's mentoring them, she's supporting them to find their like mission at such an age so they can get this financial independence, right? It's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. And also she's supporting women to have this financial independence, to feel safe, right? And to have this passive income and how they can do it, how they can invest money. Like, wow, like just saying this, I feel so much energy and I want to learn more. Like, tell me more about your story. As I told you, I just like met you yesterday, and it's incredible synchronicity how we met, and I really want to hear your story.
Oh, thank you so much. Yesterday, before we get into that, was just amazing, by the way. So I think we were not meant to be at the event yesterday, but stars aligned, planets aligned, and there we were. And it was just such a wonderful, heartfelt, uplifting day to be around so many interesting people, but people that are really connected to themselves and to their heart and wide open. I mean, even just this morning after your beautiful event yesterday, all the people there have reached out, said hi. So you really created a beautiful, magical space. So thank you for inviting us.
And it is like, in reality, this is the first event in Dubai, but I'm so inspired and excited to create more, because I feel like yesterday one of the participants, she was sharing like, I came to Dubai a long time and I'm on a spiritual journey for a long time already, but I felt alone. I didn't have my tribe, and just staying for 2 days like at our event, she found this like-hearted, like-minded people that now she have access to through the group, and she can meet with them, etc. And it's like, it's amazing. Really, I'm so happy that I did it, that I followed my higher self, because like I was planning at some point even to cancel it, but my inner guidance, like, you need to be here. And I can tell you, today I realized why I should be here, like to meet you, to meet Dariush, and I feel blessed, like really to meet your couple and to see what you are doing and what you're both doing and what impact you're bringing. It's like wow. Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
And even yesterday there was one lady there who, she just arrived in Dubai 2 days ago, and she didn't have any contacts, any friends, and now she has this great big family of, people that are aligned with her values, which is just amazing. It was a really beautiful day.
Same.
And a real range of people, from successful businessmen to stay-at-home mums to spiritual leaders, like really vast group of people. So well done to you for bringing that together.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, tell me more about yourself.
Okay, so I'm from the UK, British born, and I actually started my career as a ballroom dance teacher.
Wow.
Many, many, many years ago. I know. So I was dancing since being young, like 6 or 7. I was very shy as a child. I was a very introvert. So my mother said to me, why don't we do something to try to build your confidence? So she put me in ballroom dancing lessons, and I just loved it. So that was my release, really. I spent a lot of time alone as a child, but when I was in the dance studio, I felt that through movement and dance, I could express myself and my feelings and my emotions. So going all the way through school dancing, and then coming to the end of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Nobody ever sat down with me and said, what is it that you're passionate about? What do you enjoy? So I thought, well, I know that I love dancing, so I'll become a professional dance teacher. And my goal was always to have my own business. I was very entrepreneurial from being a very, very young age. And when I trained, I then trained, and I was teaching for 2 years, mainly children. And I loved it. I loved the kids. And it was during that time that I discovered the connection between the mind and the body.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God, thank you for saying this.
Really. And nobody, I'm from a very small village in the UK, so nobody knew about spirituality. Nobody knew about meditation, or even yoga wasn't a thing. I think it was the Jane Fonda aerobics with your sweatbands and your really, honestly. So that was the only kind of exercise that there was. But there was something in me that could see. There was one instance when I had a formation team of 14 girls between the age of 8 to 14, and we were training for a presentation award for a football team. So we would go in as the guest, and the kids would do a performance, the entertainment for the night. And there was one session before the event, and the girls came in, and they were just all over the place. They had no coordination. They were just not matching. They were not smiling. Their arms were not straight. And I could feel myself getting frustrated with the children. So I guess it was intuitive. I said to them, okay, sit down. Let's sit down in a circle. So we sat down in a circle together. And I asked them all one by one, do you have any challenges that you want to share? Is there anything that is making you not happy? And around the circle, one by one, they all shared something that was bothering them. So it could have been one of the girls had witnessed her parents arguing that morning, and she was obviously carrying it within her. Another girl fell out with her BFF. Another girl, her puppy wasn't well. So there were all these little issues, but for them they were big worldly problems. So I said, okay, let's imagine in this circle that we have a little basket, and I want you to take this issue or this challenge and pop it in the basket. Just put it inside the basket. And then there was one window in the dance studio that opened. The rest, for some reason, they were all sealed shut. So I said to the girls, close your eyes and just imagine this basket going up into the air and floating out of the window and going up into the sky. So simple. And then we all gave each other a hug. So I said, give the person next to you a hug, and now go to positions. And they all went to their positions to start. And I didn't say anything. I started the music. And I watched these kids dance. Even now I get teary-eyed thinking about it. And I watched them dance, and they danced their heart out. They were smiling. Their arms were straight. They were moving their bodies. And it was in that moment that I thought, wow, when there's something troubling us here, it's represented here. Powerful. And I think that was my first realization of the mind-body connection. And then I used to bring this into the practice, with the kids, sit down, do this exercise. But again, it wasn't meditation. It was just an intuition that I knew that something was bothering them mentally, and it was being represented in a physical sense. So I continued to teach for 2 years, and then I decided after 2 years that although I loved the kids, I couldn't bear the parents, because they were, not all of them, but I could see a lot of the parents were very competitive. They were very pushy with their children, and it wasn't why I was teaching. I was teaching from love, not because you have to get first place or you have to have, more private lessons. So it started to not feel authentic to me. So I thought, well, I'll change careers. I'll try something different. And I really wanted to travel. So somebody had said to me, if you train as an esthetician, then you can have a job on the cruise ships and you can travel the world.
Yeah.
So, okay, that sounds fun. So I trained, I did a 2-year program as an esthetician. And when I left the training, I applied to the cruise ships and I applied to Virgin Atlantic on the airlines because they had at that time in-flight beauty therapists, masseurs on the planes. This was an initiative by Richard Branson. Of course, he always wanted to be different and stand out from his main competition, which was British Airways. So he decided that all first-class passengers would have a massage on the plane.
Wow.
I know. This lasted, I think, about 5 years. So I trained and then I applied to Virgin and I got the job with 10 other girls to be therapists on the plane, which was great. And I traveled the world and I had a wonderful time. It was always long haul. So I would end up, 1 week I was in Tokyo, the next in New York and then Singapore. So it was a really, really great way to travel the world. But whilst I was flying, all the passengers that I was speaking to and learning from, they were mostly entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I had lots of conversations with, tell me about your business. What is it that you do for a living? Because I was interested, I was intrigued. Why can these people afford to fly first class? Like, what are they doing? What is their lifestyle? And I decided to, whilst I was working for Virgin, to open my own business. I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be a multimillionaire.
And what was the business? What was the idea?
Well, it was a disaster, but absolutely disaster. But I learned a lot. So all budding entrepreneurs out there, you will have many failures before you make it. So I was always very interested in aromatherapy and natural products. And at the time, you may not have heard of a company called Avon. They were a home service brand. And they had this catalogue with all these products in. And you'd order these products and then they get delivered to the house. And during around the same time, Virgin had launched Virgin Parties, where they were selling Virgin products, so makeup items, skincare products, but it was all chemical-based. So I thought, why don't I create a product, because I'm an esthetician, so I could create this product based on natural products, aromatherapy oils, giving nourishment to the skin, and run it through this home care service, because that was really taking off. Yeah. So I had this idea. I actually got an investor, one of the passengers on the plane. I pitched the idea to him and he said, I'll invest. So he invested, he funded my initial business. And I found a supplier, found the products. I had no clue about marketing. I even cringed telling this story because it was so bad. But I thought, okay, what can I call my business? And my name is Angela, and my surname is Hayes, not Soudi before I was married, my maiden name. So I thought this was ingenious. It really wasn't. But I thought if I take my first name and I take my last name and I remove the A and I remove the H, it spells Angel Eyes. So I'll call my business Angel Eyes. And I created this logo by sketch because there was no Canva or anything back then. So the A's or the E's were eyes. So it was angel with an I and then eyes with an I. It's awful. I mean, it was purple, it was lilac color, the whole thing was hideous. But I thought it was great.
Feminine.
I thought it was amazing. I thought I was going to rock the world with this brand. And I launched my first business and I did a few parties and I got some sales, but I mean, it crashed and burned. It just didn't work. But I learned an awful lot along the way.
But why it didn't work? What do you know?
I think, I was trying to juggle that with working full time, and I didn't have enough funds. I had enough of an investment to start the business, but I didn't have enough to keep buying supplies. And then the suppliers wanted bigger quantities, which was more money. I didn't budget properly. I didn't have the funds. But I did learn an awful lot through that journey. But I thought, okay, I actually really enjoyed the sales side. So when I was looking at what I could do next, I thought I need to do something where I can earn money. I wanted to earn money because I wanted to be a first-class passenger on Virgin. This was my goal. So I looked at all the different professions and I thought, okay, how can I earn money with the skills that I have? Well, to work in a salon, minimal. And I researched that sales was a good business to go into, a good career to go into, because I knew that I could talk to people and I knew that the earnings would be uncapped. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get into sales. I'm going to be a salesperson. I'm going to earn millions and I'm going to fly first class. So I had no idea about sales or even how to branch into it. But I looked at all the different industries. Okay, what industry can I go into that they earn good money, but also they're treated well, they're respected. So I decided that medical sales would be the way to go. I was going to be a medical sales rep. That was it. That was my career. I had no idea how to even get into this career. So I quit my job at Virgin and I decided that the only way to branch into this industry was to go through recruitment agencies. And I registered with a recruitment agency in Warrington in the UK that specialised in medical sales. Mm-hmm. So I bought myself a really cheap suit because that's all I could afford. And I bought one of these, you know, the old men sort of hard cased briefcases, because I thought it made me look intelligent. So I had my cheap suit.
I love it.
And my hard case briefcase. Yeah. And I made an appointment to go to the recruitment agency. And I walked in and he kind of looked at me and I had my CV and I sat down. He said, "How can I help you?" I said, "Well, I'm here to be a medical sales rep." And he looked at me and he looked at my CV and he said, "Is this some kind of a joke?" Really, honestly. And I said, no, I want to be in medical sales. And he started to laugh and he said, "You've got no chance of getting into medical sales."
Wow.
No chance. And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're not medically trained, you don't have a degree, and you've got no experience." He said, "Just stick to dancing what you know." And he did this really patronizing wave of his hand. And I took my old man briefcase and I left his office and I sat in the car and I cried. And I thought, I was so rejected. And I thought, how naive and stupid of me to think that I could even do this and make a career in this. And as I was driving home, that feeling of defeat turned into a feeling of rage. And by the time I got home, which was an hour's drive, my mindset had changed from I'm a failure to I'm going to show you that I can do this, and I'm gonna do it. So there was no internet back then, so I went to a local newsagent and I purchased all the magazines on medical health. And in the back of the medical health books was the classified section with all the medical companies in advertising their products. So I wrote to every single medical company that I could find, sent my CV. I got mostly rejections. A lot didn't even bother replying. And just as I was about to give up and think, okay, maybe I'll choose a different career path, I had a letter through the post to say that you've been accepted for an interview.
Wow. With
a company called Sunrise Medical. And I drove to the interview and I was shaking. It was a 3-hour drive from where I lived with my I still had the briefcase. I might lose the briefcase already. But I still had the briefcase and I went for the interview and they were the UK's largest manufacturers of patient lifting devices, so hoisting when people are disabled. And I was sitting waiting for the interview and they were all much older, like more professional business people waiting for the interview. So when I walked in through the door, there was a lady sitting there and I sat down and she said to me, "Okay, tell me about yourself." And I said, "Look, before I do, I just want to say that I know that I've got no experience. I know that I'm not medically trained and I know that I don't have a degree, but I promise you, I will work harder than anyone you've ever employed. I will study day and night. I will be out there knocking on doors till the middle of the night if I have to be the best that you've ever hired. I promise you I'll give you my all. I'll give you 1,000%.
I have a goosebumps, like, oh my God.
All I had. I didn't have anything else. I couldn't sell myself with skills. I didn't have any. And we had a conversation, and then I left. I went home thinking, well, it was a good experience, but I've got no chance of getting that job. And when I reached home, she called me, and her name is Kay Thomas, and she said, I just want to say that I really appreciate your honesty in that interview.
Authenticity, passion.
And she said, you're hired. And she hired me. She said, actually, something in you reminded me of myself when I wanted to get into sales. And I learned that by being real and by being vulnerable, you know, if we just let this guard down and we show our authentic self and we face what we don't have as well as what we do have, people, they resonate with that. So I did, and that was the start of my sales career. And yeah.
Wow.
And then sales for many years. I met my husband. We, as you know, his story.
How did you meet your husband?
Okay, so
I'm so curious.
I'll share this story. So I was after I'd been in medical sales for many years. Actually, funny story. So I was working for Sunrise Medical for 3 years. And after the first 6 months, I was promoted and then promoted again. So I progressed really quickly through the business. But I really wanted to work in hospitals. That was my goal, to work in theatre, in the theatre environment, in the operation theatre. I loved that. You know, I just, there was something in me that wanted to be in that environment. So that was my ultimate goal. And after 3 years with working for Sunrise Medical, I went back to the same recruitment agency. I made an appointment. His name was Russell. I made an appointment to see Russell. And I walked into his office and I gave him my CV and I said, now put me on your books. So he got me my next job. He said, well, you know, kudos to you, well done, high five, you know, I was in the wrong. So we giggled about it. But he had access to all these big companies that worked in the NHS and the hospitals. So he then got me my next role that was based in hospital, and that's how I progressed from there. So it came full circle. So I was working for one of the big medical companies, and I was covering the north of England in the hospitals, selling orthopedic bone cement to surgeons. And my hours were very irregular because I was working in trauma care. So depending on what traumas had happened that day would depend on how long I had to be in the hospital. So I'd get home from work sometimes 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And this one particular day, it was in the evening, and I'd arrived home, and Dariush was walking through the car park, and we bumped into each other. No, sorry, I'll go back. The first time I saw him, I was moving into this apartment block in the centre of Manchester, because most of my hospitals were around Manchester. So the commute was easy for me. And every weekend I used to look after my niece. My sister was a single mum. So I'd take my niece on a Friday evening, and then I'd drop her back on a Sunday, and we'd spend the whole weekend together. So I was moving into my new apartment block, and it was a Saturday morning, and I had all my bags to move into my apartment and my niece with me. And as the elevator door opened, I tripped over my bag and I fell into Dariush. So he was in the elevator. And I said, I'm so sorry, I was so embarrassed. And he said, no, it's fine, can I help you with your bags? You know, he's very charming. And I said, no, it's fine, thank you so much for asking. But something in me there was a feeling inside that I'd never had before. Relationships, I could take or leave. I was career girl. And there was something, I thought, there's something happened, you know, inside. I had these butterflies in my stomach. And as we went inside the lift, my niece said to me, Auntie Angela, he was a nice man.
Oh, my God.
He was. And then I didn't see him again for a while, but I kept thinking about this man in the elevator. And then a few weeks later, I got into the elevator again. It was a weekend and I had my niece with me, and he was in the elevator with a woman, a very attractive woman. I said, hello, nice to see you again. He's married, you know, he's got a girlfriend. And he said, it's really nice to see you too. This is my mum. Now, his mum is only 19 years older than him. Beautiful.
Oh, my God.
I was like, okay, mum. I said, okay, nice to meet you. This is my niece. You know, kind of establishing, not my daughter, not your wife. Okay, great. So we had a little chat in the elevator going down, and then a couple of weeks after that, I was coming home really late from work, and I see him in the car park, and he was kind of hobbling along, holding his stomach. And I said, are you okay? He said, oh no, I've just had surgery, and, you know, I'm a little sick. So I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know, if there's anything you need, let me know. And I took some supplies around to his apartment. He told me where he was living, so I took some cranberry juice. He had an infection and other things, and left it on his doorstep. And then after that, a few weeks after, I saw him again in the same car park. And he said, oh, it's so nice to see you again. You know, thank you for leaving the things for me. And he said, actually, I have a concert tonight, a George Michael concert.
Oh my God.
That I'd like to take you on if you're willing. And I said, yeah, you know, I'm free, I'm available. I wasn't free. I had a really good friend's wedding. So I called my friend. I feel awful. I mean, I don't like lying, but I called her and I said, I'm so sorry, I've got a bit of flu. I can't make the wedding. I cancelled her wedding to go to this concert with this guy that I don't even know. And we went to this concert, and on the way there, he said to me, I've got these amazing seats. They're VVIP. We're going to be front row, you know, literally in front of George Michael.
Oh my God.
You're going to be so impressed. So we drive to Manchester Arena, and when we walk in, I walk off down to the walk towards the VIP section, and the lady said to me, oh, no, your seats are this way. And if you can imagine, the stage is here, and she walked us all the way to the back and then all the way round. They were literally the worst seats in the house. The only thing we could see is the back of George Michael's head from miles away. So he was so embarrassed. He's saying to me, no, I've been scammed. I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. I'm thinking, what a loser. But it was a bit of an icebreaker, and we just laughed the whole night, and, you know, we were together ever since.
Oh my God, I'm so happy
yeah.
that you trusted the intuition and this inner feeling, and that you were together, and I'm sure you created so many things together, and like seeing the gladiator and hearing his story today, I'm so inspired what he's doing, and like hearing your story. It's interesting how from dancing you came, let's say, to supporting women, right, with finances and supporting kids. How this idea of Junior Gladiator came?
Okay, great question.
Yeah, it's like it's very interesting.
I think a lot of my passion for wanting to work with kids goes back to my childhood, because as a child I always had this entrepreneurial spirit. I knew that I always wanted to run a business, or, you know, do something for myself, not work for somebody else. And I looked at my parents. So my mother was a nurse, so she was always in an employment. My father was an entrepreneur, so he always wanted to do things differently and not do things the norm. And he had many, many business ventures throughout his life. I remember always he'd come home with some new business idea, and, you know, now we were moving here or doing this or doing that. But he never really made it to the success that he was worthy of. I think within him, looking at, I guess, my interest in psychology and parent relationships, looking at his journey from being a child, he never had support. His dad died when he was young. His mum wasn't supportive. So he had this feeling within him of not feeling worthy.
Yeah.
And I think that was reflected in himself as being an entrepreneur. So he never made it. So he had this relationship with entrepreneurship as feeling like a failure. This is how I interpret his journey.
Yeah.
And also not really giving us the life that he wanted to give us. We were very working class. We were the poorest kids in the neighborhood. We were the kids that couldn't go on school trips because my parents couldn't afford it. So I think he was frustrated that he couldn't give that life to us that he wanted to give to us. So for me, growing up, having this entrepreneurial spirit, I remember always having all these crazy ideas. I've got this crazy idea, you know, what about this? And my father would always squash the idea. No, it won't work because of this. It won't work because of that. There was always a reason why it wouldn't work. And as a child, that told me that I was a failure, that my ideas were not worthy. I was not good enough. I was always striving for him to say, great idea, fantastic. He never did. So I think there was that relationship where, looking back now as an adult, and he passed away many years ago, but looking back as an adult and having this awareness, I understand now that he was trying to protect me. But it never came across in that way. it always came across as rejection.
But I think it was from fear, like
100%.
Fear.
It was absolutely from fear. But as a child, you don't understand. You don't have the insights. You don't know that. So I went through life always constantly striving, constantly trying to feel better or to prove to him that I was good enough. So I think the connection with now working with the Junior Gladiators and working with kids is a little bit of healing that wound, letting children know, I believe in you.
Yeah, wow.
There's someone here that is in your corner that is telling you that you can do it, that is looking at you saying, absolutely yes, and you're going to make mistakes. Fantastic. Let's embrace those mistakes. Let's look at what we learned from those mistakes. So although it gives me a lot of gratitude and pleasure helping kids, it's also very healing for me because it helps to overcome those wounds of me not having that support.
And you're supporting like younger generation because like in reality you can't get all this knowledge at school, right?
True.
But what you are given to them, it's like you're opening this portal of possibilities for them from this early age, and they can feel worthy. They can have the support that you didn't have, right? Like I would love to have someone in my childhood to tell me these kind of things. I feel that if I would have like my father telling this to me, maybe from 7 years old I would be like entrepreneur for sure. So it's like what you're doing, it's like wow.
Thank you.
And you can change so many lives.
And the kids are great, like, they have so many ideas.
Yes, because they have an open mind, right? I mean, they don't go through all these journeys, through all this experience, through all these failures, right? They can have the support from the early age, so they can be inspired, right? And they can, okay, I have this idea, and they have someone, yes, it's good, do it, try it. So they are doing it, they are trying it, right? They are so open for all these possibilities. So it's like, it's a huge portal that you are opening for them.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, you know yourself, you talk to many people that
successful entrepreneurs.
And successful entrepreneurs are living their passion, and they have the mindset and the bravery and the determination to follow that path. But how many people do we speak to that say, I'm not living my purpose, I'm in this job that I hate, I'm working with people that I can't stand,
yes,
but I'm stuck because I've got my mortgage, I've got my family to support, I don't feel like I can leave this. So years and years and years and decades go by, and people live a very unfulfilled life because nobody said to them early on, what is it that you enjoy doing? What do you love to do? It's just, once you tap into that and you know, okay, this is my calling, or this is where my heart is, then you can follow that path. But otherwise, we get conditioned to go through school, get good grades, go to university, get a job, feed the system, pay the taxes. And really, as humans, that's not authentically who we are. So I think the whole entrepreneurship for kids, it teaches them so many skills. I mean, aside from understanding their own mindset and their passion and their purpose, they're also learning. Entrepreneurship is all about critical thinking, you know that, okay? Find an issue and find a solution. They learn so much confidence through entrepreneurship. There's a young boy that we work with as part of our events team. So we have an events team for our kids' events. And the events team are all children. And they're all kidpreneurs that are already running their own businesses. So they come as part of the events team and they help to motivate the children. They share their journeys with them. It's amazing. Because the kids can relate to the kids, right? They look at me as though I'm a million years old. But when it's a 10-year-old talking about his journey on how he started his business and how he's earning money, they can relate to that because they're children. And I know this for this young boy, when he first started his business, he was so painfully shy. His parents said, he just couldn't hold a conversation with anybody. And then he launched his business, and he has these little products, these skateboards, and he was selling them there's an area down, there's a mall called Times Square, and they have this market on at the weekends where you can take your produce and you can sell it. So the parents said to him, okay, let's have a stand there and you can start selling your products there. So because he's talking about something that he's passionate about, he could have a conversation with an adult. If you ask him, how are you, tell me about your day, he found that very difficult. But something that he feels innately passionate about, he can have a conversation about. So he started to talk to people about his products and his business. And now if you see him, he's doing YouTube and podcasts and interviews. He's a very different child just through going through this entrepreneurship journey and doing something that he enjoys. So confidence is a great thing that kids learn. And of course, you know, the biggest one for me is failure is okay. It's a good thing. We're going to learn and learn and learn again until we get it right. So yeah.
I'm so happy that in that day when you were sitting in the car, you had this rage and anger, but you found a way how to transform this energy and to create from those this energy, instead of, like, you know, destroying yourself with all this not feeling worthy, etc., and all this self-talk, but you use this energy to continue to do and not to. I think maybe at that moment you like you were telling about your father, right? That he always was trying, but he didn't reach, let's say, success. But you didn't stop, and you had that passion inside you that I will do it, I can do it. I think maybe like just showing to your father also that you couldn't do it, but I can do it. Even without support, I know that I can do it. I know that I'm worthy, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, and you can share now this past, this story with the kids that you are working with and inspire them. And then all these other kids that believe in themselves, they can inspire other kids. It's like, oh my God, it's incredible. Like, I love this idea. And
thank you.
tell me, like, the events, how do you have a school, or how does it work? Is it online, offline? Like, how kids can go to your school? And I can tell you, like, when you were sharing it, I got the idea. My son is 6.5 years old, but he's painting. I have around 30 paints at home. And what I realized, like, I will make some small exhibition, or even at the beach, like, you know, in Bali at the beach, and I will inspire him to try to sell it. It doesn't matter again if how much money, etc. No, just try to sell it and tell about his passion, why he's doing it, why he loves painting, etc. So I will do it. I will do it, and I want.
Send me pictures when you do it. Video him.
Yes, I want to arrange this possibility, like opportunity for him to tell to people, like, about his passion. Yeah. Like, really, and I feel it will be a great motivation for him. So thank you so much for the inspiration.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Please let me know how he gets on. And also for him, for confidence, you know, if he's explaining to people what was in his mind when he was painting this painting, and people are showing interest, imagine that he's tapping into parts of the brain. His creativity is just going to go wide open.
Yes.
And it is, you know, it's kids learning these skills that I am important. I have a place in the world. People see me. It's about being seen. You know, we hear this phrase. I heard this phrase all the time when I was growing up. Children should be seen and not heard. And I think, wow, who invented that horrific saying? Children should be seen and not heard. Actually, no, children should be heard and definitely seen. So for him, if he can share definitely that passion, and like you said, it's not about the money. Money is an exchange of energy. Yeah. So it could be 1 dirham, it could be 10 dirhams, it could be 50 dirhams. It's about people, or him, understanding that there's value in what I'm doing. People value what I'm doing. And it's a beautiful process when you see a child tap into that energy of pride and an appreciation for what they do. They just light up. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, and it's crazy if they have this opportunity to to connect to this passion, to connect to this mission, to connect to their potential in such an early age. I can't even imagine how much impact they can create in this world, because a lot of people, even me, I'm in business for 19 years, and just this spiritual, like, just 4 years ago when I went to Bali, like, it changed my life. It was the time, like, just 4 years ago when I really tapped to my potential and I started to do the things that I'm passionate about. but I had so many years, right? And they have this opportunity to start in such an early age. Like you need to have some scientists or like people that will do some kind of how to call it,
Some study.
Really,
Yeah,
yes,
evidence-based studies.
yes, because try to imagine if you can do this study, if you can even put it in the social media, etc. So give this evidence to people that it works, and spread it in the online. It can bring so much hope, and it can give the direction to other parents, like really to try to do something in a different way. Yes, we don't learn it at school, and nobody told us that it's possible to give this opportunity for the kids, right? But
True.
if you share about this possibility, I'm sure there will be a lot of disciples in different countries and a lot of other people that would be so inspired to do it with the kids.
Yeah.
Really, because if we inspire the younger generation, we can change the world.
100%.
We can change the world. If from the early age they will feel this connection to themselves, to their potential. Maybe, okay, I'm working with adults. I will still have a work, but I will be happy to see these kids growing up, feeling this safety,
Yeah, and believe in
feeling
themselves.
this support, believe in themselves, feeling this freedom, abundance from such an early age.
100%.
Oh my God.
And also you touched on something there that I didn't mention that I've seen with many families. And I think this is also really important for parents to know that when kids get involved in a passion project or a business, I've seen this so many times where the family comes together. Now we're all in this digital world, so everyone's online, everyone's becoming more and more disattached. But what I see with entrepreneurship is that when the child is involved in something, the whole family then becomes involved. So I'll give you an example. So we've got one young girl, she is a content creator. She creates educational content for children around the world based on Dubai.
Yeah.
So she might talk about the 12 sustainable goals. She might talk about the developments in the construction here in the UAE, plastic waste. They're all, really relevant, juicy topics. And that's her passion. Her dad is her videographer. So he does all of the videoing and the editing. Her mum is her marketing manager. So she creates the social media thumbnails for her social media. So they all sit down and they brainstorm ideas together.
Wow.
Okay, what do we want to do for content this week? What are we going to talk about? What's our focus? So the whole family is involved.
How old is she?
She's 12.
Wow.
She's
Oh
12.
my God.
It's amazing. The young boy that I mentioned, he is the creator of the product. His dad is his chief financial officer and engineer, so he makes some of the wooden elements things for him. His mum is his marketing manager, so she does again all the posting. His sister is his supply manager, so she calls the China suppliers to get cheap supplies for the product. So again, you find that I think in a world where we're becoming more disattached, by doing something together as a family, we've all got a common goal. Suddenly we've got a reason to sit around the table, brainstorm ideas, go to a market together, sell products together. It's so beautiful to see that they're not only learning skills for themselves that will set them up for a better life,
Yes.
they're also connecting with their family. And the conversations, we do it with our own kids. So our 2 boys are vloggers. They've been vlogging now for the past 3.5 years. And we sit down with them and we brainstorm ideas, we brainstorm challenges, and they really want to spend time with us. Now, kids see their parents as boring dinosaurs, right? So it's getting more and more difficult, especially teenage kids, to want to hang out with their parents. But for us, we sit down and say, okay, let's brainstorm ideas for your next vlog. Let's look at the editing. What could have been done differently? What are you happy with? What are you not happy with? And it's something that even though our youngest son is 10 and our oldest son is 16, we've got a common interest because their interests are very different at that age. But bringing them together for the business, we can all talk about this with the same passion and the same purpose.
And I feel that they are growing in reality. They are growing and expanding because the world changed so much all the time, AI and all these kind of things. And for adults, like not so many adults want to learn and to support these young kids, because in reality they don't know all this marketing, right? Posting, but they are learning, they are evolving, they are expanding, and they are growing all together as a family. It's like, it's such a huge value to do it together with the family. It's like, oh my God, wow. How kids can get where they can apply, where is the school, online, offline? I want to know now.
Okay, so we have an online program.
Okay.
We have our website is JG Kidpreneurs, so juniorgladiatorkidpreneurs.com.
Yeah.
We're also we have a small podcast as well that we run with. We bring different kidpreneurs into the studio, and we let them share their story on how they started their business and their journey, and advice to other children that want to get into entrepreneurship or finance. So they can follow the podcast and see the interviews of all the kidpreneurs that we work with here in Dubai. And there's some great stories on there. I mean, you watch these kids talking and they blow me away. They're phenomenal. And we also run live sessions for children as well. So currently we're just working on a new program that will roll out in the next 2 weeks, that will be live sessions taking children through the journey of, first of all, understanding ourselves, because that's really important in business. We need to understand how our mind works. We need to understand what thoughts are serving us and what thoughts may be standing in our way. And if we've got thoughts that are standing in our way, how can we move past those and break those down and replace them with better ones? So there is a certain amount of mindset development with children when we're going through entrepreneurship. And then we go through, okay, let's talk about your passion. What is it that you enjoy? What do you think about when you're going to sleep at night? What are you daydreaming about? How can we take that idea and then create some kind of a business model behind that? And then we go through all the steps of developing a business plan, budgeting, finance, what is money, where does it come from, how do we earn it? So kids start to understand that money doesn't just come from this plastic card in dad's wallet or mum's wallet. You know, we actually have to go out there and earn it, and this is how we bring in finances. And then we look at building a proper business plan. So how do we market the product or service? What is a great name? How can we start building our marketing? What resources are available to us to do marketing? Well, now we've got things like Canva, where you can do all your flyers and leaflets, and, you know, it's gone are the days of having to sketch things. It's all really easy for us now. We teach them how to build a website, so they can go home and develop their own website. And then we get them to do promotional videos. So let's get the camera, let's create a pitch, an elevator pitch, a 30-second pitch about your business. Because again, this is all about building confidence, presentation skills, being able to communicate your ideas. And then they create a full pitch deck around their business. And at the end of the session, they pitch their business to a panel of judges,
oh my God.
investors. And actually, if some of the business ideas are good, we'll invest. Like, I'm happy to financially put money behind these kids to start realizing their dreams. So they pitch their business. Again, they have to prepare properly, practice their pitch, and then deliver. And what they're asking for is investment for a percentage of shares in their business, right? So they get used to thinking about, okay, this is my business, this is how much money I need, this is what I'm willing to give away for exchange of this money, energy. And they go through the whole process of literally A to Z of developing the whole business idea and then pitching it to potential investors.
Wow. And you take the kids from 7 years old?
From 7, yeah.
Okay, my son is 6.5. In February he will be 7. Amazing. Really, this, like, even just you sharing this inspired me. Like, instead of showing animations to him, because you know the kids, right? You have the phone, etc. And like in the morning when he wakes up, he wants to see animation. So now instead of allowing him to see the animations, cartoons, I will give him the podcast to watch the podcast. So just to inspire him, just to change like the way how he sings, and like when he will be ready, he can go and start to learn from the past, right?
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
like it's
he
so
can start
inspiring.
now. If he's got his paintings, he can start now.
Yeah, like believe me, I will come back, and this what I will do. But I told you I will start with the changing cartoons to the podcast, so he can listen inspiring stories from the kids, and I feel he will be very inspired because, like, you know, I am entrepreneur. I am a business person, and his father, he's also like in business, etc. So he has it, and like he has this kind of like. He's a good salesperson, very good salesperson.
Kids are the best, by the
like,
way. They are relentless. They just do not give up.
Yes, and believe me, he has a character. Oh my God!
I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like,
you know, we could do a podcast with him online, so he can
Really?
tell me about his paintings. And although he's not right now working his business,
yes,
we could organize an interview with him where he can show me his paintings and he can explain what his plan is. And then later on, because that'll get him motivated, and then he's got an accountability partner, which is me, because he's told me what he's going to do. And then we can do a part 2. We can film him doing his market. So now he's in action, and then we can do a part 2. How did it feel? What was your experience?
Wow,
you know, what did you learn
it.
through that journey?
Wow,
so then we can kind of do a little vlog on his journey as just planting the idea, the seed, and then going all the way through to him actually being there selling his things.
Like I don't know.
I'd love to do that. That'd be an honor.
I'm so blessed to meet your family today. It's like, you know, I feel like today I have a birthday. Like really, I'm getting so many gifts through your family, like that completely change the way how I sing, like all the insight, all the inspiration that comes, but also so many possibilities that open in front of me that I can't think about it because I didn't have this experience before, right? So how I can think about it? But it's like it's just crazy. I have a birthday today, and thank you so much for this idea. Like,
well, energies have got to be aligned, otherwise this wouldn't be happening. It's meant to be.
I love how
it's
the
an
universe.
honor to meet you as well.
Like, yes, it's a pity that your child got sick, but at the same time, it's a blessing. Like the way how the universe orchestrated this meeting, it's like, how? Like, oh my God. Dariush replied in the Instagram by himself, like, you know? And again, me sending this message like, Dariush, I don't know if I can ask you, can you post the information about my event? Like, just this one step of courage brought so many things into my life. And like, by you giving this inspiration to the kids so they can make this one step of courage in such an early age, like, oh my God.
There's a great lesson in that.
Oh my God.
You know, having, as you said, the courage to, because most people don't. They go small, they go inward. But to actually say, you know, I've actually got nothing to lose by putting myself out there or asking the question. I've got everything to gain.
Yes,
just having that courage to do that. And that's a shame that we don't nurture that more, especially in children, to say, okay, just go for it. Really go for it. You've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain. All you're going to have is a no. It's okay. If you have a no, we go somewhere else. It's okay. It's fine. We can deal with that. So I honor you for that, because most people wouldn't have that courage and that insight to put themselves out there for fear of rejection.
Yes. For me, it was not even fear of rejection. It's same like you. You were sending the emails to all these medical companies, right?
It's that inner determination.
You were sending it, and for me, it was the same. I was curious. I was sitting like, okay, universe, let's play. Like, if I will send the message to the guy with 3 million followers, and I will ask for support, like, what would be the answer? Like, for me, it wasn't even important what would be the answer. For me, just to make this step of courage and to ask, because for all my life, I was doing the things by myself. It was like, you need to do the things by yourself, you need to work, you need to achieve, you need to be successful, you need to do this. But then learning that I can have a support, and the most important, to receive this support, to ask for this support. It was like a whole new stage in my life. But what I see now, like, just asking, just making the step of courage, but this just a co-creation. I feel this like we are co-creating with the universe, but we are co-creating in the real dimension with people. Like, we can do so much impact. Like, oh my God, we can do so much together.
Agree.
So much. So
And we're stronger together.
we are stronger and it's, again, for me, it's like what I was talking even yesterday. For me, this space of unity, the space of oneness, where we can come together and remember who we really are, because we are not a human doings, right? We are human beings, and how we can find all these like-hearted people around, that we all can come together and co-create and remind people, let's do together, let's walk together. You don't need to be alone.
No.
Same like what you are doing with those kids. You're not alone. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. Like, it's such an inspiration.
And
what you are
actually,
doing.
if you think about it, I agree. And if you think about the feeling that you have when we think in our mind, I won't ask because I don't want to burden them, or they may be busy, or whatever the reasons, whatever the justifications are in our mind. But actually, when we give unconditionally to people, that feeling that we get within is a really beautiful, rewarding feeling. So by asking and giving somebody the opportunity of giving back and helping, you're actually giving the other person a gift of having this beautiful warmth feeling inside of saying yes. So when you reframe it to, I don't want to burden them, I don't want to bother them, to, I'm going to give them the opportunity of feeling warmth and happiness by reaching out and helping. It's this exchange of beautiful energy again. Because it does feel nice when we help people and we can support others.
Yes.
Regardless of how busy we are, it feels beautiful. And it's nice to be given that gift of, can you help me? Absolutely, yeah, I can. And that feels nice for me. This circle of energy.
Yes. It's like, for me, giving is receiving. It's always about, like, this year I did the event for my birthday, like a festival. And I watched the movie Eat, Pray, Love. And Julia...
Brilliant movie.
I love it.
Brilliant movie.
Julia Roberts, for her birthday, she decided, like, okay, she sent a message to her friends that instead of giving the presents, etc., send me money so I can support to a woman to build the house of her dream for her family. I was crying. I saw this movie so many times. I was crying, really. And it was like, okay, how I can impact more people? What can I do? And like for my birthday, I created this charity event, like a festival. And I've reached out to different brands in Bali. And I told, I'm having this event. It's like for the charity purpose. I have charity project for the newborn kids. Because like in Bali, abortion is forbidden.
Okay.
And like the women, if they don't have a man, they can't do abortion. So what they do when they give birth, they just put the kids in plastic bags and put it somewhere on the streets. It's crazy what is going on there. And I was so touched with this. And like I've reached out to different brands and I got 40 different companies just giving me the like different prizes. And at the end we had the raffle, etc. In one day, we got $10,000.
Incredible.
$10,000.
Wow.
It's like just one idea, just by giving, gave this possibility to kids, like to have a place, because they are building the like physical space, food, clothes, and so many other things. So I see by me doing this, like giving to the universe, I'm receiving so much. I'm receiving so many gifts from your family today, so many ideas, so many insights, so much inspiration. So yesterday Dariush was telling that we shouldn't do the things for free. I feel like, again, I have this opportunity to give.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel this resonance inside, if my inner voice, if my higher self says yes, I'm always doing it.
No, I'm with you. I think what he meant by don't give things for free was if it's commercially based.
Yeah.
If it's coming from the heart and it's giving back to help the lives of others unconditionally, then 1,000%. You know, I'm 100% with you. We ran a school in Thailand for, beautiful story by the way, with the Bala kids. And if I can support in any way with that, then you have my 100% support. Anything for kids in need.
Yeah.
All of me is there.
Thank you so much.
I really mean it from the heart. I mean it. We had these children. We lived in Thailand for 3 years, and over there they bring the Burmese workers in, migrant workers, because they're not afraid of hard work. They work hard. They do all the laborious jobs that the local Thais don't want to do, and they're very cheap labor. So they have these horrific living conditions for these migrant workers. They call them work camps, but they're not even a camp. I mean, it's literally a corrugated tin iron roof and walls, and that's it. There's no door, there's no nothing. It's horrific. They're literally in squalor. So these Burmese come over, and they come over with their children, and they live in these horrific camps. And they go to work all day, so they get picked up in the morning, and they go off to work, and they stay till very long hours into the evening. And then they come home. But while they're at work, these children are roaming around these camps. There's no one taking care of them. There's no education. There's no school. There's abuse. There's all sorts of horrific things, trafficking, all things going on. So we helped to run a school over there. It's actually an organisation called the Good Shepherd. And they had a small school of 280 kids. And one really scratty school bus that would go and pick up some of these children from this one particular camp and bring them to this school every day. And I mean, teach them Burmese education. We would go in and teach them English and read stories to them. It wasn't so much about the education, it was giving them a safe space to be.
Yeah.
And but we knew that these children didn't have they had no money, for one, and they probably didn't really have a hot meal throughout the day, scraps here and there. So we built a kitchen, and this was just by asking. So we asked all the parents in my son's school just to give money or give clothes or anything that we could sell. And it's incredible. I remember we put a post in the Facebook group, in the school Facebook group, one evening to raise money so we could build a kitchen. So at least we could give these children one hot meal a day. So when they came to the school, we could hire a chef, we could cook for them, and we knew that they were at least getting one nutritious meal. That was our goal. And we put a post in the Facebook group for people to bring things that we could sell or donate money. And the next morning, I got to school late. The kids were messing around. They were not getting ready for school. And for some reason, I got to school late, again, meant to be. And as I drove up to the school gates, I burst into tears. You literally could not see the entrance of the school. It was piled so high with donations of people.
Wow.
They just left bags and bags and bags. I mean, we couldn't even sort. We could have opened probably an entire supermarket with all the things that were left. And there were food and rice and clothing and toiletries. I mean, it was just incredible. And I just remember thinking, ask and it is given. You know, people actually want to give. They're just not aware. We get so busy with life that sometimes we just oversee that. But when you ask people to do good especially when it comes to kids, you know, these kids need a meal. What can you contribute? It was beautiful. And for days, and in fact, the headmaster came to me and said, "Okay, enough, like really enough." Every morning we get to school, there's another pile of bags and things, and we were doing trips back and forward in the cars, taking it to the centre. And in the end, the headmaster said, "Okay, we got to have some kind of an organisational structure to this, because this is a health hazard now. You know, people are just dropping their things." And we actually made it a regular thing, so a monthly donation scheme where people could bring and they would donate. And it was really beautiful to see. And I have to say, these children, I mean, they were covered in lice. They were filthy. They were dirty. But they were the happiest, beautiful, purest souls that I've ever seen. They were so grateful. A marble a tiny bouncy ball. They play with it for hours and hours. And the essence of these children was so beautiful to see. They had nothing, yet they had everything. Their spirits were full.
Wow, wow, like, oh my God. Whew, I feel like so much expansion, and I feel so much love, and I feel so much abundance just sitting here and hearing all these stories, and so much love and care. Like everything what you do is filled with love, like really, and abundance. I remember yesterday you were sharing about the scarcity and paying the bills, but what you are doing now, it's completely different from where you were before, and I'm so happy that the universe brought these opportunities for you to create these things from the heart, and the most important, to connect with yourself, with your mission. And I feel that you are so passionate about what you are doing, and it's incredible. Really, your story inspires so much.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see you on the stage. What are the dates in?
I am very nervous.
I'm
by the
like,
way.
oh,
I am
same.
so nervous.
And I want to get the context of the person that supports you, because
Okay, let's help
now
me.
I need it too. And like, I'm very excited for people to hear this story, because I know that some of the speakers that will come there, they're, how to say, in mind, and they will share their own story, and I'm sure it will impact people. But for me, I told to Dariush before, when people share from the heart, there is so much energy there. There is so much energy, and I feel that your story will touch so many hearts. Like really, what you're doing for the kids, it's like so inspiring and so incredible. And thank you for doing it. Thank you for bringing this hope to the new generation to do something different. Really, because like I'm from Ukraine, and I told yesterday I'm from Ukraine. Two other organizers of the event, they were from Lebanon, and like how we can change the world, like not even the world, what we can bring, how we can be those guides and bring more light and love into this world. And by you doing this for the kids, I feel you will bring so much peace and abundance and wealth into their life and the life of other people. Like really,
Thank you.
I'm so inspired. Like I'm so excited to see you on the stage sharing this. Like really, it's incredible what you're doing. Thank
Appreciate
you so
that.
much.
And it's lovely to meet you and
Yes,
be connected to you and this beautiful following that you have. I mean, the people yesterday at the event were so authentic and real and precious and open. It was a really special experience yesterday.
yes.
Being with
Let's
you in
co-create more and bring like more love and light into this world and inspire kids, adults, wherever, like not need our guidance, but whoever is open for it. How to say, I always trust the universe that right people will show up, and I'm sure there will be a lot of people there in that space that need this kind of hope or idea, or to hear this message, and it will change their life, because it comes from the heart, and this is the most important thing. When people share from the heart, it's like, it's incredible when people are connected to their passion, to their mission, and they are passionate about it. It can change so many lives. Thank you. And I'm so excited to share this episode, and just to spread this love.
Honor you.
Oh my God, it's like...